What is up guys, welcome to my another tutorial. In this video we are going to create a React app with Firebase 9. First of all, let's have a look at our app. As you can see, we have a form to create article. So you have to give title, description, and you can upload image, right? After you click publish, there will be a progress bar which indicates the percentage of the file upload. After that, you will get the success message on the top corner. After the success message, you will see the latest article on the top. By the way, these articles are ordered by the date. Okay, now let's try this. So let's say life. Life is good, right? And you can choose an image. Just publish. It's a big image, so it will take some time. So it's loading and it shows the percentage of the file upload. Yeah, now you can see the success message here. This is from Toastify. So here you can see the latest article. It's on the top because it is ordered by the date. Then you can delete it. So let's try deleting it. Right here you can see the success message saying article deleted successfully. Okay, now let's get started. First of all, let's set up Firebase. So go to firebase.google.com. Sign in using your email. In my case, I have already signed in. So now go to console. We need to add project. So click this. Let's give a name. Continue. We are not going to use Google Analytics. So I'm going to disable this. Create project. It will take some time, right? Continue. Our data will be stored in the Firebase database and the image will be stored in storage, right? Okay. So open Firestore database. So create database. We are going to start with test mode. Next, and you can select the location. It doesn't really matter, so I'm going to leave it and enable. Now we are going to create collection. Collection is like table, right? Let's start collection. So here collection ID will be articles, right? Press next, and we can add the field. So auto ID. First one is title, my first article, right? The next field is description. The both are strings. Let's say this is my first article. Then image. So here we are not going to store the image in the collection. Instead of that, we are going to store the image URL. Now I'm going to get an image from Google, Firebase image. So I'm going to copy the image address. I'm going to paste it here. Then create a data. So let's save it. We need to add another field. So create a data. It's timestamp. Add. We are going to store image in storage. So let's open storage. Go to rules, right? The rules allows only the users who are logged in. So I'm going to change it so everyone can upload image. So I'm going to delete this. So publish it. Now we are going to create a React app and we are going to connect it with Firebase. So click this icon and project setting, the third icon, right? It's for the web. So click this. Let's call it my articles. So register the app, right? Let's create our React app. So open up VS Code, npx create React app. Let's call it my articles and press enter. Now go into the project folder. So cd, the project name is my articles. Now we have to install Firebase. So go to the browser, npm install Firebase, right? Just copy it. For the design, I'll be using Bootstrap. So we need to install Bootstrap. So npm install Bootstrap, as well as we are going to use React Toastify for the notification. So React Toastify. Press enter. So now you open index.js, the source folder, index.js. I'm going to import Bootstrap first. So import bootstrap /dist /css /bootstrap css. Then I'm going to import React.Toastify CSS. So import React.Toastify /dist /React.Toastify CSS. Then import toast container from React.Toastify. So after this app component, we should call the toast container. Now let's start the app. So npm start. Okay, now go back to VS Code. Now we are going to create a new file inside source folder. So new, let's call it Firebase config.js, right? So now go back to your browser. So go to Firebase. We just installed Firebase and now we are going to initialize the Firebase. So copy this configuration, right? And paste it inside Firebase config. Then we need to initialize our app. So initialize app, right? Which is from Firebase app. So we need to import that. So import initialize app from Firebase/app. Right. Now we need to invoke the method and we need to pass the configuration. So Firebase config. Now let's store it in a variable const. Let's call it app. Right. Okay, fine. Then we are going to use Firestore to store the data and storage to store our image file. So we need to import that. Import get Firestore from Firebase/Firestore. Right. Then we need to import get storage. So import get storage from Firebase/storage. Right. Now we need to create storage reference for the storage and database. So const storage, which is equal to get storage, and we need to pass app. And we need to export this. So export. So we can use in other files. Then we are going to create the reference for DB. So export const DB get Firestore, and we need to pass app as a parameter. Okay, now save it. So now we are going to show all the articles from our database. So let's create a component. So let's create a folder first. I'm going to create new file. So new file articles .jsx rfc. By the way, I am using an extension. So when you type just rfc, you will get the whole code. The extension is, just go to extension tab and just search React, the first one, this one, right? This is extremely useful extension. Just install this, right? So here we are going to show our articles, and I'm going to create another component for the form. This form, I'll show you. This is articles component, right? And here it is form component. Now let's create the next component. Let's say at article.jsx. Again rfc article form, right? Now go to app.js, clean the code. So I don't want any of these imports, so I'm going to delete these, right? I'm going to change the class name to container, which is from Bootstrap. Then I'm going to create a div with the class name of row. So div class name. So inside the div, we need two columns. So in the div class name, this column should be big. So call medium 8. So here I'm going to show all the articles. You can see it's automatically imported on the top, right? The next column, we are going to show our form. So div class name call md4, right? 8 for the articles and 4 for the form. So here at articles. Now let's show all of our articles. So articles, first of all, we need to get the articles and we need to store it in the state. I'm going to use useState. So we need to import useState first. I'm going to create our state. So const, let's say articles. Then set articles, which is equal to useState. The initial state is empty, so empty array. So save this. Now let's do the designing part. If there are no articles, we should return something like no articles found, right? Otherwise, we will show the articles. So articles.length, if it is 0, we should say a paragraph, let's say no articles found. right? Otherwise, we should display the articles. Let's return div for now. Currently, we don't have any tasks, so it should say no articles found. Let's check it. Yeah, it says no articles found, right? If there are articles, we need to loop through all the tasks. So articles.map, let's call it article. Then we are going to return div. Okay, fine. So let's give Bootstrap class names to this div. So class name, there should be a border. So border, margin top 3, padding 3. Let's set a background color, light. Now let's get the article from our database. I'm going to use use effect, and first parameter is a function. It's from React, right? Then we need to create article reference for the article. So let's call it article ref, which is equal to collection, which is from Firebase Firestore, right? Here it's automatically imported. Then we need to pass our DB, which is from our configuration here, this DB. The name of our collection is articles. Let's check it again. Continue to console. Let's check the database. Yeah, it is articles, capital A. Now we are going to create the query. So const, let's call it q, is equal to query, which is from Firestore. Then I'm going to pass the article reference. Then I'm going to order it by created date. It should be in descending order, right? So order by, which is again from Firestore, created it. Then I'm going to say descending, right? Then we are going to get the data. I'm going to use a method called onSnapshot, which is from Firestore. So onSnapshot, right? First parameter is our query, then a callback function. It takes snapshot. So now let's log snapshots. Save it. Let's check. You can see the snapshot, and within the docs, you can get the data, right? So let's log our data, right? Properties, we don't need all the things. So now I'm going to create an array with the data and ID. Const, let's call it articles equal to snapshot.docs. It's an array. So I'm going to map that. Let's call it doc. And now we need ID, which is equal to doc.id. And also we need the data. So I'm going to spread it doc.data. Data is a function. Save it. Now let's set to the state. So set articles, and we are going to pass the articles. Now let's log the articles. Right, save it. Now let's check the console. You can see it is logging so many times, right? Because to stop that, we need to pass empty array as a second parameter, right? Now let's check it. Here you can find our data. We have ID, image URL, title, description, and created at. And there's an error. To resolve this, we need to pass key. Okay, let's do that. Now our articles have all the data like ID, title, description, image, URL, right? So we need to pass key to stop the warning message. So key is equal to article dot. We can pass ID because it's unique, right? So ID. You can destructure it. So we have ID and title, description, image URL, and created at, right? Now you can remove this article here. So inside the div, I'm going to create another div. The class name is row. So div row, right? I'm going to create 2 columns, and the first column will contain the image. So div, the class name is called 3. Then we are going to show our image. So image img source is image URL. then alt, let's say title. Let's check. I need to resize all the images. So style, height is 180 and the width is 180. Alright, that's fine. Now we need the next column. Call 9. We need another class. We are going to give some padding to the left, PS3. Okay, here let's return title. So h2 title. Then we are going to display the date, paragraph created at. So to date, then we need to change it to string. So to string, right? Then description, h for description. Okay, now let's check it. Right, it's fine. But I think I made a mistake. The time format is not correct, so I'm going to change it. Here I need to change it to date string, not to string. String. Let's check it. Everything is fine. So now let's create our article form. Class name. We need border and padding is 3. Let's give some space on the top. So margin top is 3 and the background color is light. So BG light. And we are going to make the position fixed. So style, position, fixed. Right. Now let's create the heading. Let's say create article. Now we need the label. Let's say title. Then input type is text. The name is title and I don't need ID. Class name is form control. We need description. So here label, description, then text area. The name is description and the class name is form control, right? Then we are going to upload image. Label, then input. The type is file. The name, we are going to accept only images. So accept image. So if you want, you can specify the image format. For example, you can say JPEG. In my case, I'm not going to specify. I'm going to accept all the images. So I'm going to say star. The class name is form control, right? Then we need a progress bar. I'm going to create a div. The class name is progress. Inside this div, I'm going to create another div. The class name is progress bar. And another class name, progress bar script. Margin top 2. Inside the progress bar, I'm going to show percentage. I'm going to style with 50%. Below that, we need a button. Button, let's call it publish. And the class name is form control. And button color should be blue, so BTN primary margin top 2. Let's save it. Let's check the design. Right, it's fine. So now we are going to store the form data in state. So I'm going to use state. Here I'm going to create the state. So const form data. Then the method is set form data is equal to useState, right? An object which has title. So the initial value is empty string. Description, which also empty string. Then image, empty string. Then created at. It should be the current date. So I'm going to say timestamp, which is from Firestore. So we need to import that, right? Import from Firebase /Firestore. Let's import it, timestamp. Here timestamp dot now and we need date to date. Then come to title. We need to set the value form data dot title. Then for the description, the value that is form data dot description. Now we need to store the form data to the state. So on change, an arrow function, it takes event. Here let's call it handle change and it takes event as a parameter. And for the description also we are going to do the same thing. So paste it. For the image upload, we are going to create another function. So here, just paste it, and here let's rename it. So handle image change. Now let's create a function. Here the first one is const handle change. It takes event as a parameter. The next function is image upload. So const handle image change. Right, the same thing, event as a parameter. So now let's store title and description and create that in the state, right? Set form data, we are going to spread that form data. Then we are going to update each and every field, right? So e.target.name, right? So here you can see, here the name is title. So title equal to e.target.value. Now come to handle image change. We need to set the file to state. So set form data. We are spreading the form data. Then we are going to update the image. So image is equal to e.target.file, the first file, right? Now we are going to add the data to the database. So here let's create a function on click. Let's call it handle publish. Let's create it. Const handle publish. Then I'm going to check the form data. So if form data dot title or form data dot description or form data dot image, say alert, then we need to return. So the code stops here. It won't run after the return, right? Then we need to create a storage reference. So const storage reference is equal to ref, which is from Firebase storage. So we need to import that. Import, it's from Firebase storage, right? Ref. Okay. It takes two parameters. The first one is storage, which is from our config. So storage, right? It's automatically imported here. Then we need to give the path. We are going to create a folder in storage, right? So I will show you. Open storage. We are going to create new folder, right? That's what I'm doing there. So let's create that folder. Let's call it images. So I'm going to use template literal. Let's say images/images, right? Then I'm going to rename the file. If you upload different images with the same name, the old image will be replaced. To solve that issue, I'm going to rename the image. So I'm going to use the current time. So $date.now. Then I'm going to add the name. So form data.image.name. Now let's upload it. There's a method called upload by resumable. And it takes two parameters. First one is the storage reference here, right? The storage reference. Then the image file, right? So form data.image. Of course, we need to import that. So just copy this, which is from storage. So I made a spelling mistake. We should remove the S. Okay, that's fine. I'm going to store it in a variable. So const, let's call it upload image. Then upload image dot on. Now this upload image is going to have an event called state changed. So the second parameter is a callback function. It takes snapshot of the current state. So here snapshot. Now we can get the progress of the upload. So let's create a variable called progress percent. So const progress percent. It's equal to snapshot dot bytes transferred. And here there should be a comma after state changed, right? I'm going to divide it by total bytes. So snapshot dot total bytes, right? To get the percentage, I'm going to multiply it by 100. Now we have the percentage, and also we don't need the decimal value, so we can round it up in integer. So I'm going to wrap this inside math.round. Then I'm going to save this process percent in state. So let's say set progress and let's pass the percentage. Now we have to create progress and set progress. So here const progress, then the function set progress. The initial state should be 0, right? And the next parameter is a callback function. It takes error. So the next parameter is a callback function which will be called when the upload is complete. It's a callback function. The first thing I'm going to do is empty the form. So set form data, all right. I'm going to make the title empty, then description empty, then image empty, right? Okay, now let's get the download URL of the image. So get download URL, which is from Firestore. So here get download URL, right? The fine. Invoke this, and you need to pass upload image, which is this one, right? Dot snapshot dot reference ref. So after you getting the URL, we are going to add title, description, image URL, created at, all the things. So then we're going to pass the URL. Now I'm going to create article collection ref, const, let's say article ref, which is equal to collection. We need to import that. So collection is from Firestore. And we need to pass the DB from our config file. So DB, again we need to import DB. The collection name is articles, right? Okay. We have uploaded our image and we got the image URL, and now we are going to add the document, right? addDoc, which is from Firestore. We need to import that. So addDoc, right? The first parameter is article reference. Then I'm going to pass an object. So the title is form data.title, then description, form data.description, then the image URL. So for the image URL, I am passing the URL here, this URL, right? So, and then created at this timestamp. We have already imported that. Let's have a look. This from Firestore, right? And we are going to get the current timestamp. We are going to change it to date, right? addDoc gives a promise, so that then I'm going to use toast to show the success message. So toast, we need to import that. Then let's say article added successfully, then an object, the type is success. After that, I'm going to make the progress to 0. So set progress, that's 0, done. So then catch anything went wrong, let's show it in the toast. Okay, error, again toast, error adding article, type is error. Now let's check our app. So open up your browser and we need to implement the progress bar. So go back, so come down. We are not going to display the progress bar if the progress is 0. So progress is equal to 0. I'm going to return null. Otherwise, move this. Fine. Also, we need to change the width. So template literal, $, progress, then percent. Here, the same thing, template literal, uploading image. Right. Let's try it. Let's see. Life. Life is awesome. Let's select an image. Publish. Uploading image. Not a number. There's an error, right? So let's check it. Something wrong with progress. So let's check it. Yeah, I made a mistake here. It should be bytes transferred. There should be an N. I missed that. Now let's check it. Code with Warren. This is React plus Firebase tutorial. Let's upload an image. Publish. It's uploading. The image size is big, so it takes some time. Yeah, you can see the success message. Right. So after that, I'm going to add a delete button here, right? So now let's implement that. So go back to VS Code. I'm going to create a new component. So new file. I'm going to call it delete article. RFC. Here I need a button. So button, the class name is equal to btn. It should be red, so btn danger. So let's call it delete. So now let's call it inside this article component. So after the description, delete article, we are going to pass the ID and also the image URL so that we can use it in the delete article component. So ID, which is equal to ID, then image URL is equal to image URL. So go to delete article component, get the properties, so ID and image URL. That's fine. So now I'm going to create the onClick function. So onClick, let's call it handle delete. Const handle delete. Now I'm going to delete the article by ID. So delete doc, right, which is from Firestore. Then doc, we need to import that. So doc, and we need to import our DB from config. So the collection is articles. Then we are going to pass this ID here. All right. So it gives promise. So I'm going to make it async. I'm going to wrap the code inside try catch. So try catch. The delete should be in the try. So we should mark this await because it's async, right? Then I'm going to show the toast notification. So toast, let's say article deleted successfully and the type is success. Then I'm going to delete the image. So let's create the storage ref. So const storage ref is equal to ref. It's from storage. Then we need to pass the storage, which is from our config. Then I'm going to pass image URL. Right. Then I'm going to delete this. So await delete object is from Firestore. Then I'm going to pass the storage reference. Fine. So I'm going to cache the error. So I'm going to show it in the toast. So it says error deleting article. The type is error, right? So if you want, you can console log also. It's articles S, not D, right? Now let's delete an article. So I'm going to delete it. Right. It's working fine. You can see article deleted successfully. So that's it, guys. If you have any doubts, please comment. If you want me to implement new features, please write down in the comment section and subscribe to my channel and don't forget to like this video. Thank you guys. See you in the next tutorial.